Good evening. Hello again, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. This is Jack Talcott, and I'm in a great mood again. Actually, that's kind of a lie. I was inspired earlier. Wanted to share some inspirations and continue the same path I have been going about talking about God, consciousness, ego, motivation, and bring it back from the godly talk and into the physical realm about goals and the way of the world. That was my intentions. But the energies today for myself, I don't know about you, what anyone else is experiencing. The energies have been off for me today. Had a tough time getting my spark going, getting that inspiration going. I know I have a lot of hopes for my future, but today's been a challenging day. But nonetheless, you know what? That's life, and that's what we do. So today's not about me, it's about you. I do want to talk about goals and the ways of the world, though, because that's what makes life better. So I do have a couple of guests. I'm feeling patient, and I don't want to welcome, brothers.
Hey, Talcott, it's great that Vance is here. Did you see him hating on me the other night? Acting a fool?
I don't pay him much attention, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a...
That's good. It's just useless internet drama, useless YouTube personality trying to project
John,
others' so-called character flaws, just ad hominem attacks. You didn't really miss much, Jack, really.
From you or
just
Paul?
Basically, this is just like Paul was, hitting on this girl, and he got mad because there was other people on the panel that was asking her questions, and he didn't feel comfortable about that.
Were you asking
and
questions?
His ego got triggered. His ego got triggered, and then he couldn't handle it, and then I just basically, what I did? I just stayed in silence.
You came up and acted
he was just like he was trying to figure out what was wrong with me.
All right. Hey, thank you, John.
Jack, he came up and acted like you, Jack, and he's trying to be taken seriously. He keeps coming up going, get out of your imagination, acting like Jack and trying to be a hater.
Maybe Jack has something as a different perspective that you need to consider, and you're not 100% right all the time. See, this is the problem with these groups.
So now you're going to
somebody who believes that they're allied to God will justify anything, and it's a slippery slope. And you can basically justify, burning people at the stake. Like, this is how it starts. It's just it's just a denial. Like, I've seen this before. It's just a denial mechanism that people use.
John, actually,
can you stop cycling into your confusion?
Actually, Paul, he's bringing up some good points. I'm not sure of the specificity he's thinking of, but he's right, man. We've got a lot of people in this YouTube realm and in the physical world that people are confused, man. They claim God and they do some atrocious things. They call themselves the light of Christ, and yet blaspheme and insult and scream at their fellow brothers and sisters. Do you remember seeing Wizard do that with me? I do. So I think John's bringing up some pretty damn good points, Paul.
Right. Okay, so we're going to do this whole thing where just because John brings up something you can align with, you're going to totally ignore that he was mocking you, interfering with a conversation with me and a young woman that could go somewhere. all because he was hating on the fact that we had an energy and a flow that he can't produce because he's a bitter, angry incel.
Why is that? Why did you feel that you're so insecure that you couldn't keep the energy? Like you're even uncomfortable because you want to control everybody. That's your problem. Is you want to control everybody,
right?
With your will, because you are allied to God. There you go. You're God of all media. You use people. You use people to go up on stream, and then if they don't agree with you 100%, you just time them out, and then you talk over them, and then they have no choice but to raise their voice, and then you say, "Oh, look how triggered you are! Look how triggered you are!"
So you got timed out.
I really have.
I'm sorry to mute you, John. Paul, please.
So John got timed out for 5 minutes at his favorite hangout, which is my house. Okay.
Well, Paul, please. We're not going to turn this into a bickering match. There's probably valid points on both sides. Okay. What John is saying to you, Paul, what you're saying, maybe he was mocking me. Maybe he was making a clown in the moment, but today he's presenting differently in my home.
Yeah, because you can't figure out, Jack. He's playing to your
Paul. That's what you do. Okay, you play these games. You play like we're nice.
So you think, John?
You're playing like we're nice and we get along.
So you think John's aligned with you?
No, maybe
no.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. But at this moment, he's speaking truth, and
So you'll both use each other in this moment.
No, Paul. I align with what is true.
Right. At the expense of your honor and integrity aligning with
No, Paul. Honor and integrity come from honoring the integrity of what is true, not manipulating facts to fit an agenda, Paul.
Okay, so what does John Vance coming up, interrupting me in a woman's conversation because he's insecure, then projecting insecurity on me have to do with you and me and our dynamic?
You're the one that felt uncomfortable with the situation. It wasn't me.
Let's come back to
you felt so comfortable you went quiet and then ran.
Hey, we can detach.
I didn't run. I was kicked out. Like DDT. Like you didn't even you can't even explain the situation properly. DDT. It wasn't even your panel, you dipshit. There you go. You're lying again.
So why
you're lying again, Paul. You're lying again, Paul. You said I ran. I ran on that situation.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
obviously you're manipulating. So Jack proved his point right there. So you're obviously manipulating the facts.
Okay. So now manipulate Jack by playing.
Yeah, you are a manipulator.
Well,
because you side with Jack ever, right? Except in this moment,
Paul.
He has some valid criticisms of you that I'm seeing now. Yeah, he obviously has some valid criticisms now.
Care about Jack Talcott, even if
you don't care. You just want to manipulate him into your cult, and so he could donate money to you, and you could have someone dependent upon you. That's your business model. Or actually, you're just using him as content. You don't actually care.
John, I'm going to call you down. Okay, let's show respect, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but there's no reason for an antagonistic attitude with this, okay? Please. This looping can end when we just chill out, right? So, Paul, I came to your home earlier today with some ideas to discuss with you, but that wasn't allowed. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today, Paul, is, and I appreciate, first of all, welcome and thank you for showing up. I've got Moose in the back, but I don't think he can add. So, hey, Paul. God bless you.
Go ahead, Jack.
God bless you with your. Hey, there's a difference between a leader and a boss. Whether you recognize it or not, you have found yourself into a position of leadership because of the choices of others. So, Paul, as a man, as a friend, I encourage you to humble yourself to that responsibility and become a leader who serves rather than spends time establishing authority, superiority.
Right, and I don't agree with you. So we could
Why?
just
What do you disagree with?
Because I've never tried to establish any superior authority. It's not possible.
Excuse me. My direct experience with you, Paul, you're constantly.
I already said I don't accept your characterizations of the majority of experiences you share with me. So how could I go?
You don't know.
Just denial.
You can agree or you can loop with conflict.
Listen, I run a broadcast and I go on to other panels. How could I establish a control or authority over anyone that was not willful?
Here, if I may, a teaching
And
moment.
why would anyone willfully submit to me if I'm everything you say I am, when I don't want them to submit to me? I want everyone submitting to the truth equally.
Right. Well, Paul, please place that expectation upon yourself, because truth does not only come from Paul.
I didn't say that it did.
Well, here, you asked.
Do I not oftentimes say Jack talks a lot of truth but doesn't apply it? So do I think truth only comes from Paul, or do I think I've just applied it in a lot of areas Jack and others haven't? And Paul, that's evident.
In my direct experience with you, to answer your question of how you seek superiority, interruptions, deflections, distractions from the topics being discussed. That's where the manipulation comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
And it would never occur to you that maybe I have an eye for certain things that maybe you and others don't have, but you presume that we're seeing the same things in life. So when I interrupt and I deflect or refocus back to a topic, that there's more value in whatever nonsense is coming out of your mouth than what I'm interrupting to refocus on. That might be the problem. Might not be my ego, might be my clarity that leads to your ego coming out. You can't be interrupted, right? Like everyone else who's special and important and got a lot to say, but nothing to show and offer. Right.
Well, Paul, you mentioned how proud you are of your level of discernment, yet, brother, you should wake the fuck up.
I never said I was proud of my discernment. I said my discernment is proven, yours isn't. Mine is proven, yours isn't.
No.
Yes.
You've imagined my discernment is not.
Okay, well, there you go. So then that's where we disagree. We can leave it right there.
We can leave disagreements, allow them to continue, and then we can go back and forth and pretend that
we don't have to go back and forth. You just have to stop proving yourself to me. Just be accountable for what you say and what I interject with.
No, Paul. How about you be accountable to what is true? What is true comes from the facts.
Right, and you don't get to decide what those are and aren't.
Right, you don't get to decide.
Right, so we'll agree to disagree and move on.
No.
Tell
you what, actually, Paul, you're right. You want to move on?
Oh, I am right. Okay.
Are you leaving?
See how long it took you to figure out I was right when I knew I was right?
There's your problem. Leave or go to the back or talk like an adult.
And you're going to decide what an adult talks like, of course?
Well, I'm happy.
Not interrupting people.
Thank you. Not interrupting.
Okay, thank you. So John's going to bolster your ego and you're going to take your bait. Good job.
Well, Paul. Right. I actually said these words elsewhere today. I think it's time for an intervention with Paul.
Okay. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Somebody who needs me, who comes to me every day and doesn't live like me? Is that who's going to do the intervention?
Whose ego? Where's the ego between us?
I don't know. Let's go to the results and watch everyone get triggered.
What symptoms do you look for to determine if someone's controlled by ego or if the ego is serving them? What do you look for?
Insecurity in their position.
How do you look for insecurity? What symptoms?
Body language, lack of results, the inability to explain themselves fully.
Oh, so your opinions. You don't look for.
No, that's like an objective standard. But whatever
no. What you're saying is based on your judgment of behavior, your discernment, here's how you tell, Paul.
Sure. So now your discernment's going to be the arbitrate. You're going to be the arbiter.
Here's actually
what the discernment really is.
Because here's how anyone on earth can tell. Anyone can identify the insecurity that is the ego. See, the spirit doesn't lack. It has no fear. It is full. It is abundant. It needs nothing. The ego thinks it needs. The ego is insecure. So how do you see it? People protect their insecurities with aggression, Paul. You are an aggressive man, which
you mean like you screaming and yelling when you're pushed on your positions every single time and running, fighting and running?
Right. Manipulars blame.
Because I don't fight and run. I just.
Right. You don't stop fighting. I'm
not fighting. I'm clarifying. You're reacting. Notice how you're pushing my mute.
How about respond to the words I just said rather than an argument that you imagine?
Right.
Paul, I'm telling you with care.
But you don't have anything I could look to be like you that I'd want to take from you. It makes no sense. You came to me to take from me because you need what I have. You don't have anything I need or want to be like. It makes no sense.
I think Jack left because he just saw he was just sick of your. You kind of figured out your. Yeah, you figured out your whole shtick, and I figured out your whole shtick when you were talking to that woman, and you were manipulating the facts of the matter to suit your own YouTube personality. And then this is how Jack. This is how he talks. He just keeps interrupting me. I don't know why. Like I can't get a word in.
I know.
You've been muted for like an hour.
Play up to Jack a little bit more because you're such a victim. You're so fake.
No, actually, you know what?
Would you want to be anything like John Vance, you or I? Is there anything about him we want to look like him, live like him, act like him, speak like him?
Maybe shut up and we can find out.
Okay.
That's the answer I'd give.
Sure.
I actually don't know John well enough to know. I'm sure.
So you can't figure it out by what he's shown you all these weeks and months. It's that hard for you?
You can either control yourself or you can go in the back every time I speak because I'm sick of your interruptions.
I'm sick of your ineptness.
Fair enough. So, got some other people here. I'm not sure what's going on. John,
yeah, and you know what? Like I'm not going to say like I'm perfect or I'm a god of something or anything like that, or that somebody should emulate me. If they feel comfortable, if that's their walk, they should do it. But what I'm saying is, what he does is he manipulates the facts of the matter in order to suit his YouTube personality agenda, whatever it may be. Ultimately, you just say ego. And a lot of these YouTubers, even especially ex-cons, they're really good at manipulating people. And you have to be careful when you always have to have a level of discernment when you're interacting with anybody, especially with ex-cons as well.
Well, yes. However, everyone has a past. Everyone has a manipulator in them. And you know what, John, you actually brought something up that would have been a better response for Paul. I'm going to bring him back up.
Yeah, because you need
Paul.
It's laughable.
No, Paul. Everyone.
Only to bring me back up.
Well, you can listen in the back or do what you want, but I'd rather try and have a conversation with you.
Hey, brother, how are you doing today?
We are all people. No one is better than anyone. And the only reason you think anyone is better or worse is because of judgment.
Right. Discernment.
Okay? The Christ accepts.
Why'd you bring me back up? I could listen in the back.
Well, do you want to talk or do you want to just...
No, you have no discernment. So you keep calling it judgment when someone's discerning.
You're mistaken. Would you like to present facts, compare facts?
Right, compare, present.
Let's compare facts. Dude, golly geez. You know what?
How do you have a conversation with somebody who just keeps interrupting you? This is what I mean, man. It's very difficult.
It's frustrating. The thing is, though, John, is what I was trying to say to him is we are all just people. Okay?
Right.
Some people have had tougher lives than others. I've never been locked in cages. I haven't gone to jail. But you know what? My path of education was simply different, just like your guys's. We've all learned different things, different ways.
It's true. True. Jack, how was your day?
I started out talking about it. It was frustrating.
All right. Well, I'm here. I'm coming correct today. It's a new day, and I'm not.
Well, it's not necessarily about you unless you want to discuss goals. Let's discuss goals in the world. I mean,
Let's do it.
can we talk about ego and stuff like that? Because what I was trying to get across to Paul, what Paul's showing is an ego. The ego is the selfish man, the selfish woman. It's the one that doesn't care about the feelings of others, often because their feelings were never respected by others.
May I ask a question?
Yeah,
Is it selfish of him to come here to be on your show?
I believe so. In the manner in
Okay.
which he has. I mean, I won't know. You know what? Let me not answer that.
All right. Sorry, I
I don't
wasn't
know.
trying to trap you, Jack.
No, I know. The thing is, I do try and speak truthfully. And when you speak truthfully, you must be able to see both sides. I, I believe his
Let's just
intention.
say,
He's just a
yeah, let's
confused.
just say that he has a, no, sorry. Let's just say he has a disingenuous intent coming here. It has to do with his brand and his
Well,
channel, and basically he makes a living off of shitting on other people.
it's you know what it pays. It's this is what has been frustrating for me. I love the man, but Paul the character, I think he's lost in the character, and not just lost in the character of Paul Unslave, the YouTube god of all media, quote unquote.
Right, world famous.
But then it's gone into the Paul the man's ego. So I was actually just watching a lecture this morning regarding the layers of our consciousness. You know, well, I'd like to bring Paul up since I'm using him as an example, but whatever, everyone knows, whatever. So Paul's character, the one we see on Slaved, is the persona. And then beneath that, in the same being, we've got Paul the ego. And you can do this with yourself too. Everyone has their own personas. The image we present at work, the image we present, whenever you're fake, whenever it's not you being genuine, you're trying to just present an image, that's the persona. And then the ego of you is you. But then beneath the ego, what you're aware of, that's where you get into your shadows. The memories from your past, the good and bad qualities of you that the world frowned upon, right? Someone tells you you're ugly when you're young, or even there's so many examples. But the shadows are the parts of us that we've rejected. So you got the persona on the farthest out that most people see, then the ego that most people see, and then within that, the shadows, which come through us in reactions. And so beneath the ego is all the subconscious stuff. And way, 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 way deep within is the pure, true, loving self. And it's the self that you want to become. Not the ego, not the persona, not the shadow, not the arguments and conflicts or the wealth or the title or any of that shit. You need to become the self that is the I am of you. Does that make sense?
Criticism, no. Didn't make any sense. Don't get mad at me either.
Jack,
Do you
What
know
I,
what part?
Jack, I have just one question. By the way, there, you got me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Put that shit back on.
Easy there, Moose.
Come on, let us
this,
look
this,
at you at least.
this doesn't mean big, beautiful, and black. Being BB&B. Yeah, that's Bad Barney, no bullet.
Oh
I only
yeah.
have one question here for you, man. Uh, you said here just a couple of days ago that you've learned a lot and you've done a lot. Okay, in your life.
Correct.
Okay, now what have you done for rights and freedoms that you could mentor? I have an 18-year-old grandson coming out of high school. Then what can you do that I would want, or you can explain to us that would make me want to send him to your channel instead of Paul's? I mean, I'm asking a serious question here.
I understand that, but the way you phrase that, there's nothing I can offer you to make you do anything. Now,
Why
you're the
would I
only.
want? Why would
Well,
I
that's
want to send my grandson to your channel? That's what I'm asking you. Is there?
right.
You give
Well,
me a
hold on.
reason.
The reasons will come from you, but I can explain what I'm offering. I mean, I have explained what I'm offering. The rights and freedoms, they're ours to receive when we know who we are. And that's the explanation I just offered, which you said confused you.
Right. Barney, can I ask you a question?
Hey,
Sure.
we've got a couple others here, please.
I can go down back if you need to put me down.
Does he have a problem sleeping?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's just coming out of high school, and indoctrinated from high school. That's my question.
BB&B. I don't. Oh wait, there is a private chat. I'm sorry, guys. I hadn't even seen it. Here. I'm going to put my number in the private chat. Feel free to call at any time. For an 18-year-old man, before I ended up on the YouTube stuff, my first path was to try and get into the high schools and colleges because I wanted to reach the kids. And it wasn't so much about rights and freedom. It was about becoming better human beings, setting goals for themselves, creating a purpose for their lives so they don't live miserable lives like most of their damn parents.
Oh, God. Preach it, man. You're right.
Just 1 second, Jack. I just hopped on to say congratulations for finally standing up to Paul. And I'll be around. I'll hop on here sometime soon. But yeah, thought I'd come say hi. So,
hey, welcome, Telescopic. You're the best, dude. Blessings.
Bless you guys too. Have fun. Yeah, I'll be around. See you guys later.
All right. You stood up. You stood up to Paul. He still loves you.
Well,
life is good.
Actually, all I can say is thank you for finally seeing it. Because from my experience, I felt like I've been trying to stand up to Paul on my own amongst his flying monkeys and the chaos of his enablers on his panel. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've been fighting off a horde of demons, and I don't think they came from Paul.
No, they did not. And please, I'm not assigning blame whatsoever. Okay? It's been a lesson for me. I've gained emotional intelligence from within. I've expanded my levels of forgiveness, compassion, understanding.
Yeah, dude.
I've increased.
Yesterday you were telling me I'm nothing to you. Now you have me on the panel and we're friends again?
No, we're not. I'm
what
forgiving
do you mean?
and accepting, but I don't forget. You're a rat bastard. You've betrayed me and talked shit about me, lied to me over and over and over, even with your empty fucking words. So no, I don't respect you, but I am a kind and gracious host.
Damn.
What do you think of that, Moose?
All right.
How does that make you feel?
Hurts my feelings a little bit.
Please look into those. Ask yourself why you would do things that when presented back to you honestly would cause you to,
Jack,
feelings to be hurt.
I think you're wrong. I think we
what
are
am I
friends.
wrong about?
Because friends have a little tiff and then they move on from it after they apologize.
No,
that's what friends do.
No,
they don't go back to square one.
Hey, what you're doing is the manipulation and gaslighting tactics that you've learned.
Wait, what are you talking about? I'm not gaslighting you.
Listen to me. Listen to me. The ego results from denial. Okay, you want to ignore and deny the things you've done, just sweep them under the rug.
I told you I was having fun and stuff, and you don't like it.
Good? Does that make everything good for you or for me?
No, it makes it good if I stop it. Right?
But you didn't.
I did. I'm here. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Moose, like I say, you're trolling constantly. You know, I know I've come against Jack a lot, but you know, I can at least you know, have the dignity to say that I've only seen you troll for real. I feel like I've never seen you serious. I guess that's just the Moose's way though. So I can still appreciate it to a certain degree because we need Moose. Well, he's an integral part.
Hold on.
Kind of.
Well, obviously not to Paul. Paul didn't have any gratitude for Moose. Moose, he was quick to throw Moose aside. You know?
What are you talking about? He asked me to come up today.
Right. After you came back and licked his boots and, you know, started sucking the dingleberries out of his ass again. Like,
it's true.
Is that really how you feel about me?
Dude, go look at yourself with fucking honest eyes. Look at you. Look at him. Become honest, man.
Tell me what you mean by that. I need you to
well, Jack,
like, let me
step in here real quick. I'm gonna be honest, Moose. It's kind of weird. The first couple of times I saw you on panel or in the background, whether you had your camera on or not, I hear you like holding your kid, and then you're here trolling people online. And it's like, I don't know if you just had a kid or whatever, but it seems like a newer child in the background. I'm like, what's this guy doing? You know, I know you got a wife, right? You got a whole family going, and I know multiple people got families going on here, but the energy that you're coming with and how trolly it is, and how I've seen and heard you flip flop back and forth,
Christos.
And you're trying to play Jack. Like you
I'm not trying to play Jack.
You're trolling Jack.
Me and
constantly.
Jack go way back.
No, stop lying, Moose. That's a bullshit, flat out lie.
What, like 4 months?
You and I don't have any relationship. I offered invitations. I offered my phone number. I followed up repeatedly, and you blew me off. And then your behavior.
That's not true. That's not true. I called your son, and he didn't answer.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay.
We might have to, Jack. We might have to get back to the ego and God.
I tried to help you, man.
The agents of chaos are actually working right now, and I'm not even joking about that.
Crystal,
I think I'm
Bro,
seeing it
I didn't
right
even
now.
say anything to make chaos.
Well,
Moose, you obviously are incompetent in the topic that Jack is trying to bring up, so it'd just be better if you just left. Unless you can contribute to the topic, because this is Jack's stream. If you could contribute to the topic, then I would just leave, because this is just nonsense. I'm sick of this.
Thank you, John.
Just go over to Paul and lick his boots.
Thank you, brother. I mean, and this, genuinely, thank you. Moose, here, before I come back to what Christos offered, and that is what I'd prefer to do, but I did come up with ideas for goals in the world. And so,
there you go.
Moose, you know, there was some good points brought up. You are a newer father. You've got young ones. You've got a family. You supposedly have a life to care about. So if you were not, let's think about what you're ignoring, Moose. If you were not spending time on my platform trying to be an agent of chaos and bring interruptions, what else would you be doing? Don't you have a purpose for your life?
You're right. And the family's sleeping. So
So you can't be doing something to improve their lives, something to serve those, something to serve anybody besides your stinking egoic entertainment? You can't think of
Dude,
anything better for the world?
I thought that by supporting you, that
You're not supporting me, though. That's the problem. You're lying to yourself. There's a couple more agents in the back that I just don't know.
Don't bother.
John, I appreciate that. Yeah. And Christos, what you're saying, what you said, get it back to God and consciousness, please. That's what my channel is supposed to be for. The agent of chaos, guys, seriously, we've just got to humble ourselves. The agent of chaos is you. God is you. In your life, you are your God. You are your Savior. You are the creator and Lord of your life. When you choose to be truthful. When we lie, God takes away our self-control. And then the ego takes over. And then the emotions control the mind rather than the mind controlling the emotions. And the agents of chaos are what we've been experiencing. It is the human ego that interrupts when we're trying to share some truth and knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Jack, may I make a suggestion? And this is a good faith suggestion. When you were explaining about the ego and the subconscious, I think it would help those who are genuinely trying to learn, like if you had a diagram and you drew it out, kind of like psych class.
Amen. That's I was running, I tried to do a number of things and ended up delaying the live stream already, and that was one of my thoughts. I'll redo that with a graph at some point soon, because it made perfect sense when I saw it. Yeah. And guys, seriously, have fun with your life. That is what the truth is. It's that which makes perfect sense. It's that which feels right. And I'm telling you, my life is bizarre. It's ended up in ways I certainly did not expect. And I sure never expected to be sitting here on YouTube talking about God, man. That was the last thing I ever thought about. But
were you an atheist before?
I always identified myself as an agnostic.
Okay.
Because when I was young, my stepfather was a very wise man, and my mom was a fearful woman. She didn't want me brainwashed into religion, but when I was young, I read books, many books on many different faiths. And then I just turned my back on, I didn't believe in miracles. I didn't believe in love. So I lived in a loveless world as an obedient slave, creating a miserable life for myself, telling myself it was good enough. I'm saving away for the future, so everything will be okay. That's a fucking lie.
You know what? I always have a saying, like, you know, maybe this is life experience or just me reading different books. But, you know, if you think that you're not good enough and you always need to prove, well, that's your truth. That's going to be the truth when you reflect it out into the world. And when you think, well, you know what, I'm good. I have abundance. You know, I'm what I need right now. I'm content with where I am. Well, then that's going to reflect the world, and people will respond to you accordingly that way. Because when you, and that could be positive and negative, but you have when you're right. Content, you have more options of how people will react to you, as opposed to being resentful and thinking you're not enough, which you'll always get a default reaction of, you know, resentment back.
Your words just inspired a couple of thoughts there, John. I think I agree. It can be good and bad. Here's what I I've heard it elsewhere, and it's true. We live the lives that we accept for ourselves. Okay. God allows us life. Wherever you're at, that was somewhere you wanted to be, job, relationship, home, whatever. Wherever you're at, that's where you wanted to be. And that's what the routine of life is, the one you accepted for yourself. And we're not here just to accept life, man. We're here to create life, nurture life, grow life, care for life. So one of the other things, just again, it should be, this should be common sense, but it's not until you think about it. I was trying to bring it up with Paul earlier, and hopefully he may be listening, but when we focus on the negativity, when we focus on the problems, guess what? That's time wasted from spending it on the good. And it's real easy for the ego. See, the ego feels separated from God, so the ego feels afraid. And then in fear and insecurity, we start all these conflicts. And this world has taught us to focus on the past. So everyone's like in denial about what's going on. Nobody's really paying any attention. I guess what I'm trying to offer to anyone who's listening, please accept the fact that everyone in the world might be a bit insane, because there's a lot of lies out there. And if you believe in lies, guess what? You are kind of delusional. By definition, when we believe in lies, we become delusional.
And your critics will always. I'm sorry, Christos. Maybe you can talk. You haven't talked for a while. I'll let you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Well, I'm driving around multitasking. You're all good, but I was gonna say, this whole topic is I actually genuinely found interesting because when you talk about the ego and God, it made me think how ego is just one letter away from God. You switch out the E and the D, and you mix it around, kind of like how you can do with different words, do a little bit of word magic. But the point is, the ego is the I am, but you could also say that God is the I am as well. Like they're inherently intertwined. So like Paul and others talk about the I am presence. It's like a paradox because the I am presence is that of God, but it's also that of the self. And it's not to say that the self is God, but there is an intertwining that goes on, some paradoxical seems fabric
It's
of the universe of truth,
amen,
paradoxes.
brother.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's opposites and it's contradictory, yet there's no separation. And because here's what I came to accept. I mean, it's the only thing that is real is God. Everything else is just a perception given to me through this experience with God.
Some say that God would be everything. So you see how someone might say everything is real to a certain
Amen.
degree? Yeah,
Well,
because everything is God.
that's the paradox.
Maybe.
That's the paradox too. There's only one
Oh,
truth.
right. Yep.
Truth is God. All other truths is partial truth, right? But it is the paradox that each of us are here on earth at this time to resolve that paradox within ourselves. This world has taught us to believe that we are the ego, that we are the flesh and blood, that we are the man, the woman, right? We are the spirit. We are the essence of life. the same essence of life that moves the animals, that grows the plants. We are divine. And it's up to us to humble ourselves to the fact that we may be divine and may be one with God and may be far, far more powerful than our mothers and fathers in this society taught us to believe. Because I've been looking.
Facts.
Hey, Christos. Sorry, go ahead, John. Or Christos.
Yeah,
no, please go ahead.
That's definitely true. Like, there's definitely baggage. Like, there is negative things, but the thing is, if they're not really, hindering you into what you want to accomplish, which is goals, you don't really need to obsess about them at the moment. If you obsess about them, you're just going to get the energy that you got back. So what I'm saying is, even if you put in a little seed, you say, you know what, I'm going to do this today. Like, I'm just going to do this, and that's enough. And if you emulate that, if you internalize that long enough, the universe is going to reflect that. And it's like, oh, that's enough. Okay, cool. And then, a couple weeks down the line, I'm going to do this little thing. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this little thing, and then that's enough. That's enough. And you'll just see your life just snowballing quicker. You know what I mean? And then it'll just exponentially get bigger.
Life,
and you'll have something.
I think I get what you're saying. Lives can transform very quickly. I mean, seriously. Well, hey, Christos mentioned something, or maybe I was going to ask. One of the things I've been really fascinated with is some of the ideas in biohacking. Have you guys ever heard of that or looked into that much?
Oh, yeah.
Like transhumanism?
Wow, I'm glad you're bringing that up. Yeah. Well, some might call it other things, but some might have different ideas. But yeah, what about biohacking?
Well, not the transhumanism, not the electronic engineering,
right.
but the biohacking. Like, I mean, it can be as simple as cold showers to these shock therapies for your tongue to, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that's out there. Sciences and
rebounding.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying rebounding. You were like listing things that could be considered biohacking that have like certain health benefits and to alter our perception or our focus and our overall health and well-being. Ergonomics, like posture. Even posture is like part of biohacking. Having proper posture, proper movement, proper sleep.
pH levels.
Right.
Having right pH levels.
Getting into micronutrients, understanding caffeine and the windows that are the most healthy to drink it, and intermittent fasting, all of these things. Like, there's a lot of things I think that fall under the umbrella of biohacking. But I am curious where you were going with it, Jack, so please continue.
Thank you. Well, it was just kind of bring up the idea that, dude, we've got these human bodies our whole lives. They really don't teach us much about them in school, and the science is all over the place. But get to know you, everyone. Like, get to know your body. What does your body respond best to? Or what do you want to improve about your body? And dude, Google Google and YouTube right now, man. You ask a question and boom, there it is. A bunch of different answers.
Yeah.
So
well, some would say that's misinformation.
Well, some may, but you know what? I've come to accept, I really do believe every one of us are unique. There may even be different dietary needs to some extent, but there's scientists like someone mentioned when transitioning a diet, go to a vegan blood analyst or whatever, have them test your blood. There's all sorts of ways to know what your body needs and what it responds to. And here's where the connection comes in, so we don't feel all alone. Our egos, separated from God, unless we've got a strong connection with other people, we feel all alone. But there's no separation from any of us. None whatsoever. So we just got to ask, the right people will come along. That's what I've been learning. If you got questions and you want to learn something, pay attention. And the universe will bring it. Kind of what maybe John was saying. Was that along the lines?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're secure in what you're doing, and you're secure, and that's enough what you're doing, and you don't get too bogged down by the critics. This is how, like, famous people get, like, they, there's a lot of critics for famous people all the time. Look at Eminem, a lot of critics. Look at Beyonce. Look at Puff Daddy or whoever. Like, I'm sorry, maybe not the best examples, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they had, like, Eminem. He came from nothing. He came from a trailer park, and now he's the most renowned person. There's another figure in history that I'd rather not say, that lived in Germany in 1930s, but he was a failed artist, and he came, he came into consciousness, right? Just as a neutral observer, right, of consciousness. So he became part of human consciousness even after his death. So, what I'm saying is that we all have that power. We all have that power to be celebrities or actors, but, like, not in that capacity, but maybe in our own capacity, in our own fields.
I think you're right. There's a lot of mystery to this life that I know for myself, I didn't give it any attention. There's so much to this world that we can learn from from nature to the signs to the intelligence that other humans have provided. I don't remember why I started that. I'm sorry, but something you said, John, about I'm sorry, our own paths. I don't know how this universe works, how this realm works. I just know that we are, right? So each of us, I believe we come into an existence here, birthed, and that I don't know if it's destiny or probabilities or what, but there's a plan to each of our lives. There's forces beyond what we can see that are guiding us, protecting us, and sometimes attacking us, right?
Yeah.
What I've been learning, though, what I truly believe is that, as I've said, there's no separation between any of us or the Creator, that all that really is God. And that as a man, we were given the example. We were given the example of Jesus and many others, but I think I used to put him and Buddhas and all that even playing field, but there is a case to be made that is who we're supposed to be following. But it's just a story. It's the example. It's the character. It's the persona. I mean, I'm a story to learn from. John is a story to learn from. Christos is a story to learn from. Everyone listening is a story to learn from. That's why we're here. We're creating history together.
Yeah, reflections. I don't know if my mic is bad right now. I'm in a store, but yeah, what you're saying is a good word that would go with it. It would be reflections. It sounds cliche, some of the things that are said, but cliches often have a lot of value. That's why they get passed down in the little sayings and whatnot that our parents tell us. So it's almost like it goes back to the paradox aspect of things. Cliches are like something that are frowned upon, but if you really look at what a lot of cliches are, they're actually very, very valuable knowledge that just gets put into a little saying or phrase over time and then gets disregarded because people just get used to it. But it's almost like they listen to it, but they don't hear it.
Yes.
You know?
That is exactly it. That's, boy, we could go into how that happens too, but I'm sorry.
It
serves a useful benefit.
Jack.
Yeah.
You got potential with this, Jack. I know you've been at it for a while, maybe, and people have questioned you or trolled you, but you can really do something with this, you know. And like I said, you can play into the memes, really play into the memes of it. You know, you don't have to degrade yourself and make yourself a meme, but like at least use it to your advantage. The people that like make memes and like kind of get you out there to a certain degree.
The universe, God, and others have been doing that for me. Paul has certainly helped me get my name out a little bit more. Tribe, how you doing, brother? I didn't mean to leave you so long in the back, but I felt we were having nice conversations. So,
no, understood. And yeah, I was doing other things in the back there too. So appreciate you having me come on here.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was listening earlier. You were mentioning about inspiration, and you're trying to get away from some of the typical texts that people do. And last night I was actually on Weezer's channel, and he was doing a movie review, and they're mentioning something about the story of your life and what you're going through, these trials and tribulations. And I guess they are rather profound that so many people are talking about it. So I started to think about that, and they're talking about how it would be portrayed, whether it be a movie or some cautionary tale. And I thought, I've been doing a lot with fables lately, and I thought, what about a fable relating to this story, And I know, I just got really inspired. In the background there, while Wizard was doing the movie review, I started to work on this fable. I just started, it's just a stream of writing, and I wrote this thing out. I'd like to read it to you if you would give me permission.
Not at this moment, if I may. There's something came up that you're not aware of. I've had a long-time critic of mine show up today. Miss Margot, is that really you?
Yes, it is.
Well, God bless. Thank you for joining me in my living room today. How have you been? What can we do for each other?
Well, I'm responding to a comment you made about a minute ago that they don't teach about bodies in school. And can you, obviously they do. Starting from there's state standards. If you go on any state education website, they'll show you the state standards that are required to teach by law.
Hey, Margot.
Yes.
Margot, please. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Tribe, if you're available, you might be a wonderful teacher. This friend of mine, Margot, I see where she's going. She wants to be critical about my words, and she's desperate.
No, Jack. I'm asking for.
Well, if I may, where you started going though was an appeal to authority.
I asked you a question.
Did you?
You said that they don't teach about bodies in school.
And
I'm asking, when you go to physical education and health and wellness, is that not about the body?
Margot, I know you love.
No, I'm really requesting an answer.
Why?
Well,
I just think you're coming from a different context of a different frame of reference of
exactly, and that's,
a state educated.
I would like some clarity. I would like some clarity. When Jack says that he's not, that
I know what you're about already. So when I've heard that 10 million times.
When they don't, okay. I realize I'm a woman, and that's scary for you guys. But
no, Margot,
we've heard this argument a lot. Yeah, we know what you're saying.
When Jack says they don't talk about the body in school, I'm just asking, Jack, will you please clarify?
Okay, Margot, if you shut your mouth, we can. I'll answer your question.
Oh, good.
Can I clarify for you, please, like you asked me to do for her, because I think we need clarification before you can even answer what she's saying.
I'm asking Jack for his clarification.
Well, Margot, please allow the men to speak. We've allowed you to speak.
Jack, can you just answer a question?
Well, Margot, I've answered many questions already. Now, Tribe, you were saying something. Please go ahead.
Well, when
wait. Can we address this?
When you're talking about,
I can address this.
Wait, John.
The body, right? Are you talking about the holistic body as a whole, as the true interrelation of the systems of the body, or are you looking at some diced apart model that's false when you relate it to reality, that's pushed down people's throats by some kind of academia? There's two different ways to look at the body from a strictly allopathic perspective, and then there's a multitude of other ways to see it. So what I see is that in a lot of the schools and academia, they push only one perspective. And you can't reach the truth by only looking at one perspective. You need multiple views so you can use discernment to make the truth assessment of what's going on. The truth isn't delivered. It has to be discerned.
No, I completely agree with you. Absolutely, 100%. And I wouldn't say they force it, because you can't force.
Well, so does that answer your question, Margot? Jack, in the context of the words you heard me say, that was very reasonably the explanation I'd have offered.
Jack, I want to know what you mean when you say that they don't teach about the body in school.
Why is that so important to you?
Because when you pose a statement such as that,
it's information.
It's information. You seem triggered by it, Margot. Does that trigger you? Maybe because you're so caught up in your academia, your achievements, and your slave licenses?
No.
Oh, that's not why it triggers you?
No.
So why is it? Explain your purpose then. So you heard information from me.
Yes, you said that.
And that information, when you receive that info, you don't need to keep repeating it, Margot. That's the ego. We're past that. So obviously you received information from me, and it stirred you enough that you had to jump up, or you chose to jump up. You didn't have to do anything.
I was asked to join.
You chose to come up.
Yes.
You chose to come up.
Yes.
Interrupt and bring the attention to you.
Well, you did put me up on the panel.
I did. So,
are you like a nurse or a doctor, Margot?
No.
Oh, okay.
Care to
Sorry, carry on, Jack.
What you identify as, Margot?
What do I identify as?
Yeah.
I identify as a spirit, Jack.
Oh, really? An evil spirit or a loving spirit?
All love, Jack.
Is it?
Yep.
Really?
Absolutely.
Have you? Wait, who's that? Then who? Maybe I should see your. I thought I recognized the voice, but did you know? Okay, so maybe you don't know. There's this crazy lady named Margot Davy on Facebook.
Okay.
Who's been harassing the shit out of me for several years.
Oh.
So are you claiming to be that evil spirit, or you're a loving spirit today?
Jack, you seem very confused.
No. Well, I'm confused about you, what your explanations are, certainly.
Well, it sounds to me that this just isn't real and your perceptions are just off.
Why do you believe that?
Because I am all love.
Okay, so then explain the threats and harassment and false narratives. You are supposedly fearful. Loving people aren't fearful, dude.
Jack, I buried a child. I'm afraid of nothing.
No, I'm not talking about your past. I'm talking about the past experience related to me.
Okay.
What is your problem towards me? For the past several years, you've avoided conversations and run all around talking shit and saying, spreading accusations about me. Totally. Hey, Margot, yeah, you know, the people you convinced to believe you, they refused to help me save my job. Do you remember doing that?
Did you go for the psyche eval that was required to get your job back?
Hey, Margot.
Yes.
I did everything I could and everything I was supposed to do.
Jack?
I did everything in my power to prove myself worthy of a conversation.
Why
But
do
you made sure people believed you and not talk to me, Margot.
Why do you believe I have that power?
Why did you do what you did?
What did I do?
God bless you, my friend. You don't know you. You don't know me. You only think you know either of us. But you are a very angry, very confused, and very bitter woman. You are not loving, Margot Davy, not in my experience.
Yes, my children love to spend.
As I said, not in my experience, and you can take your experience elsewhere again as well, Margot. That woman helped convince people not to help me see my son, not to help me save my job. That woman convinced, according to her, convinced local city officials not to speak with me, even though I believe I can help many of the homeless and the addicted here in Spokane. But praise God.
Is she like an attorney or something, or is she like, what is she?
I met her when I crawled my way out of detox. I went to the rooms of AA. I was so sick, man. I was so afraid. I was going to 5 meetings a day. And I met her at one of the early morning meetings. Friendly relationship in the rooms, and maybe at the recovery picnics, but she has no relation to me whatsoever since probably 2017. And as I understood, she was like supposedly a counselor at a school district.
Jeez.
Okay. Yeah. So the crazies are in mental health getting licensed because they go sit in a stinking classroom, but they have no concept of what is real. And Margot Davy is a wonderful teaching example for others to learn from of a bitter, angry woman who thinks she's brilliant because she got a college education.
You know, I do notice that I can't say this for sure about this woman, for I don't know her, but I can say there's a lot of narcissists in the education system, 100%. My own sister is one of them, and I remember just being younger in school and encountering especially English teachers. Now, I know she wasn't a teacher, but from what you were saying, she had dealings within the education system. Unless I'm missing something. I am multitasking, but yeah, definitely a lot of narcissists in that field.
Well, hey, actually, with compassion, and we've got narcissists everywhere. Okay, every single one of us has varying degrees of narcissistic tendencies. What has been identified as the real severe narcissistic disorders, that is the human ego, the selfish, controlling, manipulative ego, absent love. When humans don't have love within them, they become cold-blooded, cruel fucking creatures. And very confused sometimes as well. Hello, sister. You're muted, Sly.
Hello, brother.
Hello.
Hello, John. Hello, John.
Hello.
So, are you mad at me?
Am I mad at you?
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Um, I'm the person that be in the chat all the time.
Okay.
You still don't know who I am?
No.
Oh, come on, John Vance. I speak to you all the time in Paul's chat.
I speak to a lot of people in chat. Don't think yourself as special.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't think I'm something
Yeah, because
special.
when someone of value actually has something to principles to stand on, they actually have something to offer, and they don't just lick Paul's boots all the time, and they focus on
Wait
the
a minute.
negative shit
Excuse
all the
me.
time.
Wait a minute.
Like you're gonna get some backlash, and
Please
obviously
don't.
a lot of
Please,
people. There's gonna be a lot of
please,
criticism. So I apologize that I didn't know
please don't put
your
me.
exact
Please
name
don't
on
put
the
me in a.
chat.
Please,
And
please don't put.
you're gonna take offense to that. You're gonna take
Please
offense that I
don't put.
didn't know
No, I don't.
you're
I
one of
don't
my
take.
many critics. Wow. Take a number, lady. Don't get offended.
Hey, John.
Sorry, I was antagonistic. I apologize.
No, please. I'm going to let you know too. I did mute Sly because she was interrupting you, but to try and keep order, I may do that more and more. Okay.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying. I get a lot of people come up to me, real life and even online. I don't remember those who really don't bring me much into my experience. So I understand why you wouldn't remember someone.
Yeah, when
Especially
someone uses like fake internet names, it's just a blur.
right.
If you have a real name and you actually stand on something, you use your real name. But if you don't use your real name, obviously you're just a troll, and you don't really have any accountability to begin with, or you shoot yourself in the foot by not using your real name.
Not necessarily, but
sometimes,
John,
like, you know what I mean? Like when you're on the internet, like obviously people get away with shit all the time when they don't use their real name, so they're not accountable, right? I'm not saying they can't be they can't be honorable if they use a fake name. I'm just saying if you don't use a real name, obviously, it's really hard for them to be accountable for what they do, right?
it is.
For what they say.
Hey,
Not
John,
necessarily.
Because
I
if you
may,
can't put your name on it, then obviously you don't really stand behind what you say.
I can put my name on whatever I need to put my name on.
That's fine, but you just know that you're already behind the eight ball when you don't put your name upon it.
I don't drama bond, John.
Okay.
Can I talk to you?
Grooming children, Sly. You don't
Can I?
drama bond.
Oh man, here we go with the
Sly.
snafu.
I won't be
You've
blocked by
never.
Paul. I won't be blocked. Yeah, Sly. When people don't get their way, Paul or all these guys Nazi block, and you guys get used to that. But
And
when you
that's
get
what
tripped
Talcott
yourself,
is doing right now. Is that
he
what
does it
Talcott
too.
is doing right
Talcott
now?
does it
He's
too.
blocking me
Talcott does
because
it
he
all.
don't want me to speak up for myself. He don't
no,
want me to
Vince has
speak up
made
for
some
myself,
very
so he's blocking
key
me.
points.
That's
I
a
know how to
lie.
speak
Vince
up
has
for
made some
myself.
very key points.
I don't need Paul and
Snafu,
nobody else to speak up for me. I speak
Snafu.
up for myself.
Okay, Sly. Why
So
are
I'm not
you
going to have you
Sly?
guys attack
Sly,
me for
Sly,
you don't even know me.
Sly.
Victim
You
attack.
don't even use your real name. How can we know you?
Please, people, allow me just
You
for a
don't
moment.
have to know me, John.
Sly.
Why are you on a public
Attack.
platform putting your face on there?
Oh, man. Just for a moment, please. Sly. We can disengage from the arguments. All right? Can you do that?
Do you hear how they talking to me?
Sly, I'm talking
Do
to
you
you.
hear how they talking to
Yes,
me?
I've
I'm
heard how
asking you
you
a
talk.
question. Do you hear how they talking to
Yes.
me?
What is your
Right?
point?
Right.
What is your point?
You are a broken woman who
you're
just
asking
happens
me
to lick
my
Paul's
point?
boots,
So
he
you
doesn't
think that I'm going to
criticize you.
come up here
Yeah.
and drama bond with
You're
these
just
guys? And I can't.
another Paul donor. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
In
guys.
here,
I'm sorry.
it's like to try and drama bond for Paul's group. Don't lie.
That's exactly what she's doing, but I don't want the chaos. Okay, and I see what you guys are doing. You're right. That is what Sly's doing. She's obvious in her agenda. She loves Paul. She will defend, and she'll attack those that will earn her favor. And so, there's many out there who think shitting on Jack because Paul does it. Well, yeah, that shit is fun.
I
Paul
shit
likes
on you.
that.
Shit on you anyways.
What's
I don't
that?
need Paul or anyone telling me to shit on anyone.
No, I know. You know what? Here's the reality people need to accept. We shit on ourselves because the only thing that matters is the truth. The facts we show and what we say, what we do, that's the only thing that matters. Sly, I see you in the back, and I want...
No, you know what? She got mad because I asked her question, and of course
I'm not mad. I'm not mad, Snack Food.
Right.
I don't do that stuff.
So
I don't get mad.
Well,
I don't get
okay.
mad.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we do. Why are we here? Why are we here today, Sly?
Can I talk about it, please? Can I please talk about it, Jack?
I'd prefer if you would instead of just delaying.
You heard what happened when I came up here, how they started, saying what they had to say to me.
I saw you as
right?
well. I saw you as well. Go ahead.
I saw everything. All I said is, I'm just surprised that John doesn't know who Sly Shy 58 is from the chat. I thought we was friendly. When I go in the chats, I'm friendly and I engage.
Sly, right. Rather than continue on with your
so look, listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me up here, but you don't control me. You don't control me. Thank you for letting me come up. Peace out, buddies.
Right. You don't control yourself.
You don't control.
Sly, you don't control yourself.
Sly, you're such a joke. I don't drama bomb, but I'm going to come in here and try to start shit.
Thank you. That's exactly it. That's what ours do. Guys, pay attention. Pay attention to what others are saying. Pay attention to what you are saying. And don't react. Don't react to what others are saying. That's the trick.
Right.
Many times those accusations. What's that?
Why'd you guys chase her out like that? She didn't say anything. Y'all attacked her right away like that.
Tribe, no one chased her out. She could have stayed or not stayed. Quit white knighting for her, dude.
I pushed her out.
Another white knight.
Come on, who do you think? I got a real name out here? Give me a break.
Tribe, would you like an answer or do you want to just complain?
I want an answer, not run around the bush.
Okay. Well, stop talking so you can receive the answer. I was hearing you complain. So the reason Sly is no longer currently on the panel is because while there was chaos, she started it. She came up immediately going to John to bring up an old incident in the past, and then it came into the chat, and she was chasing an argument that she'd imagined for no purpose but her own. Tribe. That is what I saw. Then when I tried to speak with her, she wants to continue to talk over me and disrespect me. And Tribe, you may not have recognized it, but her and you have offered me much disrespect. And this is my house, not Paul's. Fair enough?
I never said that was Paul's house. I never said it was your house.
Did I answer your question as why Sly is no longer
they call
on
the shots here? You're a guest in YouTube's house. They could kick you out in a second, just like your house.
Yeah, they could just kick you out too. They'll kick you out soon, buddy.
Nothing's guaranteed to anybody here.
Tribe, I liked you better quiet, honestly. And if you want to argue, you're free to go as well. I brought
it's like the resentment that comes out of like this Paul camp. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I still have like that bottled up, but like listening to Paul, yeah, he has some good things to say. I'm not gonna lie, but do you see all this resentment that comes out of Paul's camp? Right? This is what happens when you focus on negative stuff all the time. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You focus on the negative stuff will happen to you. If it's not in your way, there's really no need to address it all the time. So I just think that Paul is definitely some sort of dangerous, I would say dangerous cult of some sorts that could manifest into some real world consequences. I know that sounds ludicrous to you, Jack, but I've been around activist circles, and I have definitely seen this type of behavior before, this denial behavior, and it can only progress worse. So,
hey, John,
yeah,
I shrugged my shoulders in kind of dismissing that assessment about the danger, but you know what? The darkness, the dark energies, and I've said it. I love Paul. I admire him. I've got gratitude. Enough of the good. He needs to accept the friggin' bad. He spends hours and hours a day sharing negativity, insults, and hate out into the realm of consciousness amongst fellow human beings. And so his follower, it is a cult. It is a cult of
where's Joe Cool?
Chaos.
Is he backstage? Joe Cool?
Who?
Joe Cool? I see him in the chat. Is he backstage? Get him up here.
He's welcome. And I think the link is pinned. I don't plan on going a whole lot longer. I actually was going to limit it to an hour, but we got 10 more minutes. Will be close to an hour and a half.
That's good.
But
John,
hey John, thank you. I saw a different side of you today, and I don't feel it was. I feel it was genuine. I appreciate it. I respect that. Okay.
I know we don't agree on everything, but I definitely see, where you're coming from.
Thank you.
On Paul, and other Paul's critics as well too. It's just I just find it very, because maybe I shouldn't be. You're right. We should live without fear. Like go back to the goals thing. There's always going to be detractors. When you're trying to achieve goals, and people telling you, unsolicited advice and stuff like that. And I just think that you need to definitely, improve upon what you need to improve upon, because you only know yourself the best, right? Not someone from a screen, not someone with a YouTube channel that tells you the God of all media. Only you know you, right? And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Hey, John, I only got 10 minutes too, Jack. So I wasn't going to hop up here because I know I didn't have time. But dude said that Paul was dangerous. And I wanted to know why you say he's dangerous. I could think of reasons.
So basically, I'm. Is it okay if I answer this, Jack? Or
please, John.
Okay.
Yeah, I was asking you, John.
Okay. So basically, my assessment is I'm seeing a pattern of behavior that is quite disconcerting, and it does kind of line up with the cult experts, some of the analysis of the cult expert on Lauren's channel.
Yeah.
When it comes to people threatening people, threatening people when they leave, that, why don't you just start a better channel? Then it's just like, okay, nice. then you guys come on here and have this very hostile energy. All the followers of Paul himself leads the charge. And we can't have a conversation, and
that's
obviously he manipulates the facts into his own YouTube personality, makes false character assassinations.
Manipulate the facts requires deceptive intention, so that's interesting.
Yeah, there is definitely a deceptive intention. He says, you know what, I just want you to be free, and just go on your own. But I'm the God. I'm the another thing too. You can laugh at me all you want, but this is how this shit works. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, but I see where the flow is going, and you gotta, you can't focus on the negative all the time. You focus on negative, you get resentful, and there's just not good results. That's all I'm saying. And that could be a danger to others, possibly. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, can I offer? The answer to why it's dangerous is because of the time we're living through right now. We are living through a very important time of history, and there's a lot of shit going down.
Be more
and the
specific.
only way, well,
why is it dangerous? Because of what we're going through right now. Why does that make it more dangerous?
The economics, the politics, the wars, the oppression, all of this stuff. Okay, so my point of what's gonna give us a chance to overcome this BS agenda that has been planned is when we start coming together. Communities, relationships. The only way those are established is through communication. Now, the agents of chaos, they find entertainment from disruption, distraction, and disorder.
I got to tell you, I'm not debating those things because you guys all seem to be having very good points there. But I would point out the other side of the point. I don't meet Paul. I don't meet you. Well, you're talking about we got to come together. We are here because of Paul. There's no disputing.
I know.
So that's that side of the coin as well.
Brother, it's a beautiful...
Yurt, I love Yurt. I wouldn't even know who he is.
Right. It is a beautiful story that God is allowing us to experience. We don't have to be bitter and angry with each other.
Very good. That was our best argument right there. That's our best argument. Yeah.
Well, Paul Enslaved needs to realize that. And his fans. His enablers.
Oh, I got a couple minutes.
You know what? Seriously, what I'm seeing from Paul is an obfuscation of responsibility. That is also concerning as well too.
Hey, Joe Cool.
He absolves himself of responsibility.
Hey, Joe Cool, listen to me. No one came here. Now, some of you may. I didn't come here for sure because of fucking Paul. I've been on this fucking shit for 5 years, motherfucker. So you guys sitting here say we're all here for Paul? That's some dumbass shit.
I'm sorry, that's not what I said.
I'm definitely not here for Paul or any other
motherfucker. 1 second, thank you. That is not what I said. Before you come up here yelling, I said we found each other through Paul. Yes. That is all, and that is true.
I absolutely did not find.
I don't know you if I had not met Paul and these guys.
Thank you, Snafu. Hey, Joe, you're right. There's good and bad, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What the danger of what is happening is just what I said. We've got to stop wasting our damn time.
Agree.
I mean, honestly, what I'm seeing, it's an example. And you know what? God created the example. Paul created the example. So I'm going to use it as a teaching example.
Okay.
It's a bunch of people who are learning, but they don't have a purpose. They don't have goals that they're working for.
Very good. Yeah.
So they hang out.
Very good.
And they get offended if you don't remember who they were in chat. So that just shows how much low they are. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be shitting. But you know what I mean? It's just a low self-esteem, basically, is what I'm saying.
I love you, bro. I don't even know if I know
Hey,
you.
and I also want to go on the record for all you little white knight simps. DD214, his question was legit. Yeah, he's programmed and brainwashed with the military bullshit, but equal rights, he asked a question that was leading to a valid point because people don't say what they say unless they had, real life stuff happen. He was getting to a point, and you guys totally white knighted it, totally went after him, wouldn't let him talk.
Relax.
And you know what? That's bullshit. That's bullshit on all you guys. White knighting it.
You get up here and yell emotion. Let's communicate. You were saying that dude was leading to a question. Remind me of the question and where was he going with it?
You know, you don't even know. You came on here today asking who Tribe was, but
Snafu,
you have a lot to say, Joe Cool, but you don't even know who Tribe was.
I haven't seen his face, but I've been knowing Tribe for months. I hadn't seen his face,
first, Joe.
But I know Tribe. I've talked to him many times.
Met on the YouTube. Do you remember where we first met? Because I do. We met on a stream. It wasn't face to face. It was just through chat and through my friend Audit Them.
I love all of them. That's why I met Tribe, by the way.
Yes. So we didn't meet by trauma bonding. It's because we were working on doing shit. And we met when I was working with Audit Them on doing shit. And you saw what we were doing, right?
I like it.
So that's, so whoever wants to try to associate everybody in one big lump group like that, trying to label us all as one thing, is too short-sighted. He's worthy of even listening to their opinions.
Well,
until you have a valid opinion.
Yeah, you've been wrong about everything you said since you jumped up here. Every single assertion you've had has been wrong. Snafu.
Oh, is that so, Mr. Joe Cool, huh? You little fucking cupcake. Let me ask you this. You came on here and asked who Tribe was. Then you asked who other people were. People pay attention. You don't. Obviously, you get attention coming on these panels, spitting your fucking dumbass
Jack,
whatever.
do you want to end this stream? It's been about 10 minutes.
I actually do.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Cool, you don't fool me, dude.
I'm not soft by no stretch. That bullshit don't bother me at all. But I got to meet somebody else in another room as well. I'll catch you next time.
Peace and love, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. Much love.
Salute, Joe.
Tribe, we didn't get to your authorship and your reading.
Yeah, can we read the quick fable as a parting note here? And I think this is going to be something.
You know what? Let's do it.
Yeah, this is something that'll take us on the tone you originally started this broadcast with, is bringing us to something different than the typical text, and something we've learned from this whole journey. And I don't think anyone needs to take offense in this. It applies to all of us, not just Jack and not just Paul or anyone else, because everyone's talking shit right now. I want to try and take this into a different context, try to swallow our egos and our pride, and try to learn how we could progress in our life through this story right here. And I'm going to use an icon to get us ready for the Aesop-style fable here. This is called The Jackass and the White Gorilla. Once upon a time, a jackass lived on a farm, envious of the horses, who were treated better. Despite looking similar, the horses had a comfortable stable, tastier food, and were always well-dressed. Meanwhile, the jackass was left outside, tied to a post in a pen. One night, a white gorilla appeared before the jackass. The jackass was surprised, but not scared by the white gorilla's sudden presence. The white gorilla asked him why he wasn't frightened. The jackass responded calmly, "I have seen many strange things on the farm and have learned to stay composed in the face of unusual events." Intrigued by his nonchalance, the white gorilla began to ask him questions about his life on the farm. The jackass shared his frustrations about the mistreatments he received compared to the horses. "It is not fair," he said. "The horses get everything they want, and I'm always left out in the cold." The white gorilla listened to the jackass's complaints and shared his observations. "You may envy the horses, but they suffer too," he said. "I saw them on a path outside the farm. They were ridden with stirrups that caused them sharp pain and wore blinders that prevented them from seeing the world around them." When the white gorilla offered to help the jackass break free from his rope and live in the forest where there was plenty of food, the jackass refused. "I prefer to stay in my miserable but safe condition rather than taking a risk and facing the unknown," he said. The white gorilla realized that the jackass was not willing to change his ways and left him with a moral lesson. "If you continue to live in fear of regret, you will always be known as a stubborn, lazy ass." This fable teaches us, Jack, and all of us here, that we should be content with what we have and learn to appreciate it. At the same time, we should be open to new experiences and take risks when we can, because if we don't, we may miss out on valuable opportunities and remain stuck in our current situation. At that, I yield, Jack.
Thanks, brother. Well, it kind of goes with the topic of today. State of our world is pretty screwed up, I think. I don't think people should be sleeping in streets or in prisons or in cages or detention camps. I don't think children should be trafficked. I don't think women should be pimped. I don't think old people should be placed away in homes and forgotten. I don't think toddlers should be given away to strangers so that moms and dads can go earn a living. God gave us a right to live. God gave us our right to freedom. God gave us our right to imagine and create the future we want. So it all starts with goals. Each day we can, hey, Tribe, I'm going to do some brief final words on my own. And
salute and thank you for the platform, Jack, and good luck with, listen, you have a few more days. Please contact Wizard or me, whatever. You can still deal with this, but time's running thin. Trust me on this.
No, stop wishing. Hey, Tribe, I'm going to stop you because I'm tired of wishing people wishing failure upon me, saying, time is short, you should be afraid, you should obey me, my way, you should live your life my way, Wizard's way, Paul's way. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm living my life my way. But I follow my way from what I've learned of the way. And I encourage you and anyone else listening to discover the way for you as well. And the way for you, the way for me, the way for all of us, guys, we got to humble ourselves, get over the fears and insecurities, speak the words that must be said, and choose to withhold the ones that do no good. Words are powerful. They create truth. They create fiction. And when people believe in fiction, Margot Davy, they become delusional, very angry and afraid, casting accusations and insults and nonsense all around. So guys, brothers and sisters, this is our life to live. Serious. Swear to God. I think it's the only one we've got right now. So if anyone wants to really kind of coordinate some efforts, I've got some ideas on how to get out a call to action, but I can't do crap on my own. And I know some of you hear my words. I just don't know what anyone thinks. So John, Joe Cool, Christos, even Paul, Tribe, Sly, all of those who did come and join today, thank you. Even you, Moose. But we're going to call it a night. God bless, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear, brothers and sisters. Have a good night.